Hello, thank you for joining us. This is Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguele. President Bola Tinubu has returned to Abuja from Addis Ababa after attending the 37th summit of the African Union of Heads of States and Government. In the meantime, a delegation of Nigeria's president has met with the top management of Ethiopian Airlines to address various trade relations issues. The delegation, directed by President Bola Tinubu, was led by the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ahmed Abubakar. The Ethiopian Airlines had raised a number of issues which could affect its operations and relations with Nigeria. After the meeting in Addis Ababa, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and International Relations, Shola Enikon Olaye, briefed State House correspondents.
They raised a number of issues, fundamental issues affecting our relation between the Ethiopian Airline and us, Nigeria, and the Nigerian government. Of course, I can't give you details of those. We will be reporting back to Mr. President faithfully, honestly, and dutifully, and then he will consider the report and give appropriate instructions to our aviation authorities, particularly the Honorable Minister of Aviation. That was the purpose. Let me just add that those issues are issues that, we need to address so as to smoothen relations and, meet the aspirations of the Nigerian people, as well as their own side, and again to advance government agenda on the aviation sector.
It was a very productive meeting. We are very happy on the outcome of the discussion, and we will continue serving the Nigerian public through Ethiopian Airlines flights.
Ethiopian Airlines is one of the largest carriers flying into Nigeria. The federal government is deploying renewable energy techniques to the transportation sector to ease the mobility of Nigerians. The Minister of Transportation, Saidu Ahmed Alkali, stated this at the 18th National Council on Transportation held in Abuja, Ogun State. Let's hear from Akim Jimo.
The 18th National Council on Transportation Conference attracted stakeholders from across the country who cross-fertilized ideas on how to improve the transportation sector in Nigeria to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal.
Government commitment in this regard is irrevocable and unwavering. To this end, there is need to adopt a multifaceted approach to accelerate the adoption of a sustainable, environmental friendly and technology-driven transportation sector as follows. Modernizing the country's transportation system by pioneering industrialization with a focus on natural gas as a transition fuel alongside other renewable energy. Patronizing innovation technologies in the transportation sector by encouraging relevant initiatives.
It's clearly indicated that the sector is fully cognizant of current challenges, realities, and limitations, and ready to proffer sustainable solutions. Here in Ogun State, we pride ourselves on our ability to harness our intellectual capabilities to contribute to the advancement in various fields.
The Council is with the theme, Embracing Innovations and Technologies for Sustainable Transportation, Tackling the Energy Challenges. Earlier, the Minister and his entourage visited Governor Dapo Abiodun at his Okemoso office in Abeokuta, where issues bordering on the prospects of converting diesel engine vehicles to compressed natural gas top agenda. In Abeokuta, Hakim Jimo, NTA News.
One of the core agenda of the present administration is youth empowerment and skills development. Minister of State for Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, said this when he played host to state commissioners of youth and sports development from across the country under the auspices of Commissioners of Youth Forum in Nigeria. Olayinka Ojo reports.
Globally, available white-collar jobs cannot cater for the teeming youth population, and Nigeria is no exception. This is why acquiring a skill is the way to go, because it is the new oil. And to achieve this, especially at the grassroots, government is seeking partnership with commissioners for youth ministries across the country. Predicated on the pillars of engagement, collaborations, partnerships, establishment of greenhouse, and a youth academy, the minister urged the commissioners to cooperate and ensure seamless implementation of youth programs and policies at the state and local government levels. He said this will guarantee effective replication of federal government's initiatives for youths.
We have been working on modalities, talking with a lot of partners, and that is why we said unemployment. It's about when we don't have the skills. That's why we said we are coming up with NTA. We have youth in sports, youth in entertainment.
The federal government is putting in place measures that will ensure more than 7 million Nigerians acquire one marketable skill or two.
I want to assure you that in the commissioners from different states, we are ready to support you 100%. If it means to add 1%, that means 101%.
Through this partnership, it is expected that Nigeria will produce more young entrepreneurs by the next few years. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
The federal government, we'll take that subsequently, but let's take this report. More communities, including those affected by years of insurgency in Yobe State, are being connected with electricity to enhance socio-economic activities in the areas. The project is targeting 200 communities across the 17 council areas, particularly on reserved places. Adam Yusuf Ali reports.
Nigeria, as a key player in promoting rural electrification, is partnering state government to execute such in rural communities, with Yobe State keyed into the agenda to better lives of rural dwellers.
The rural areas, we considered the unserved areas, that is, areas that were not electrified before. And in the other areas, we considered the underserved areas where there are electricity but it's not serving the purpose.
Records available from Yobe State Rural Electrification Board has shown that hundreds of communities across 17 local government areas were electrified over the years, including Gulani, the only council area without power supply since its creation in 1996. Other places that benefited from the REB projects in the state is Gujiba local government, one of the most hard-hit areas during the peak of the insurgency, in addition to Gaidam, Potiskum, Guru, Yursari, where several underserved communities were connected with power supply. In Damaturu, Adam Yusuf, NTA News.
Remember, we told you that NATO embarked on a strike today. Well, the federal government has intervened and prevented a strike by the National Association of Road Transport Owners, that is NATO, by facilitating negotiations with oil marketers. Several meetings to that effect are ongoing behind closed doors. NATO has threatened to stop lifting petroleum products starting from today due to the high cost of operations. The government's intervention is to ensure the continuation of nationwide petroleum product supply. The federal government is also engaging oil marketers to address the issues that led to the threat of strike. Following the latest information, the government's intervention has prevented the suspension of NATO's operations. However, the final decision will be made known after the ongoing meeting with key stakeholders. All right, let's pause from this end as we join Adiola. She'll pick up with the next set of reports from her end. Adiola.
Thank you, Ruth. To address what they describe as unfavorable working conditions, haulage drivers with a cement distributing company staged a peaceful protest at the company's warehouse in Lagos. Larry Beleyi was there and now reports.
Every security presence, these haulage workers carried out their peaceful protests. They said it became necessary after many of their pleas fell on deaf ears. Their demands include poor remuneration, no insurance package, and lack of hazard allowance.
We're supposed to have health insurance. All the trucks we are driving, they all have insurance. So if any truck should have accident, if the driver should die, that's the end of the driver. For the offloader, whether they carry cement there, like how many years? Like 25 years, it's 2020 and I the money when they pay for them. For one bag. For offloader. This is not supposed to be.
If we can't gather ourselves, go meet them and say, please, help us, this is too much. Help us to put money. If you carry letter, go there, they go tear our letter. They don't listen to us at all.
As a way of finding a solution to the impasse, an urgent meeting was convened among stakeholders which consist of the Nigerian Labour Congress, the security personnel, and employers of the protesting workers.
Agree that we must shift ground to allow for a better welfare for these workers. And that is what NLC is trying to achieve, to see that the workers' life is better, even with the current reality in Nigeria.
The Nigerian Labour Congress is hoping that more interface between the parties will offer a permanent solution. In Lagos, Larry Beleyi, NTA News.
The Lagos State House of Assembly is urging the federal government to come up with a mechanism to reduce foreign trips for seminars and conferences by ministries and agencies in the country. This is as it decries the continued downward slide of the naira against the dollar. Essay Nwamaka completes this report.
Following the current naira-dollar disparity, which has resulted in the rise of the cost of living in the country, members of the Lagos State Assembly at a plenary presided over by the Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, advised the federal government and the Central Bank of Nigeria on the various measures to be taken to stabilize the naira.
Banks made just over 600 billion, top 6 banks for the investors, just over 600 billion. But the new fiscal policy that the president put in place, they used it to their advantage, and they made over 2.5 trillion naira now. And that is because they've taken advantage of policies that the president has put in place. So CBN now needs to regulate them harshly and control these activities.
I think the CBN government under President Tinubu should try to work a policy with two more aspirations that Nigerians domiciliary account. People should be given incentive to turn out their dollars so that more dollars will now be in circulation instead of being in the hands of few.
Exchange rate of purchases today goes down over 1,500, and imagine how much you're paying for each container. So if we can go forward and look at the way we can actually make it easier for the people, if they want to trade, no problem, trade, but it should be naira again. This policy should be in place.
While stressing the need to strengthen security across the nation, the House called on the CBN to embark on sensitization of Nigerians on the steps being taken by the Apex Bank to reduce the pressure on the naira. They also implored Nigerians to play their significant roles at this time to scale up the value of the naira in order to save the country's economy. In Lagos, Essay Nwamaka, NT News.
Those are the reports from Lagos for now. It's time to take a break. More news when we return. Please stay.
Good evening and thank you for joining us in Maiduguri. Charcoal is said to be one of the principal attractions for consumers. Youth groups and stakeholders are on the lookout for adaptive strategies on the efficient use of energy through charcoal briquette production and watershed management in a training organized by the Northeast Development Commission in Borno State. Zainab Adam completes the story.
Every
household cook twice or thrice in a day, and the cooking is mostly being done by firewood and charcoal, which are gotten from trees, resulting to deforestation, among other attendant challenges of climate change. A 2020 study shows that 77.7% of Nigerian households have been cooking through open fire, while 13.9% of households usually cook with stove. Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, in its week-long training on climate change awareness and adaptation, among other components, under the Environment Protection Program, presented opportunity for participants to learn the fabrication of energy-efficient stove and briquette production from agricultural and domestic waste, as well as watershed management for conservation.
We should keep our state clean, and we need to stop cutting on our trees.
It shows us how to economize everything about our life when it comes to cooking material stuff and rest.
Meanwhile, the week-long training has ended with certificates presented to all the participants.
I want to extend the appreciation of the management, my MD, to the participants. The bottom line is that it's not about the volume of what you are going to do as your starter in terms of entrepreneurship, but it's about how focused you are.
This training would be a tool in the fight against climate change in the coming years.
So they can use this particular skill so that they can build their self, and at the same time they can be able to, we'll just teach them on how to secure some projects even from Bank of Industries and even from NEDC in such a way that they can, make their own life better.
Participants have been advised to make the best use of the knowledge impacted in them. In Maiduguri, Zainab Adam, NTA News.
Now, financial managers operating within the Borno State Civil Service have been tasked to utilize every opportunity within their reach for enhanced productivity and efficiency. This was the central message of stakeholders at the closing ceremony of a one-week training for internal auditors, accountants, and accounting staff organized by the Borno State government. The report. The post-insurgency development plan of Borno State government seeks to scale up productivity of its workforce, particularly managers of resources who bear extra burden of blocking leakages and institutionalizing probity, efficiency, and accountability. With participants drawn from various ministries, departments, and agencies, the one-week training critical stakeholders in the financial services sector say will certainly usher in a paradigm shift in carrying out official obligations, particularly curbing wastages and misappropriation of funds.
Training and retraining has to be continuous. You can never exhaust knowledge. Accounting profession is a dynamic one.
We are training them so that they should ensure prudency, there is transparency, there is accountability.
The training of the internal auditors is for them to be abreast digitally, to add value to themselves and become relevant in the system.
During the closing ceremony, Borno State Accountant General announced that each participant will receive a laptop to fast-track implementation of the training they acquired. The participants have affirmed determination to reciprocate government's commitment of inculcating computer proficiency in them by ensuring effective utilization of the knowledge acquired. Those are the latest stories. For now, from Maiduguri, I'm sure Ruth in Abuja is ready to continue from there.
Definitely, Abubakar. Good to see you. As an institution that conducts research and provides solutions to societal challenges, the National Open University of Nigeria is wading into the old and current trends of migration, which has become a source of worry to the society. Through its unit, Center of Excellence in Migration and Global Studies, the university organized a one-day seminar to conscientize the public on the issues around migration, otherwise known as JAPA in Nigeria, while agreeing with the fact that migration is key driver to urban, regional and national development, with the migrants returning home sometimes with good earnings and better educated. Those who do not know fall prey into dangerous situations, sometimes lose their lives. Hence the need for the sensitization.
I think it's very important to invest everything we can to create a necessary awareness to allow those who are potential migrants to have the valuable information they need to travel and how to live well where they are, and when they have finished and want to come back, to find opportunity of coming back to be reintegrated.
That there is compelling need
for a structured conversation for a better understanding of the dynamics of migration, the ramifications, and the immediate as well as remote implications. The better understanding will lead to informed policy formulation cutting across several strata.
The Center has been deeply involved in articulating and projecting the contribution of academics and researchers to the international migration discourse.
Started these studies 4 years ago, making efforts to proffer a solution to the national and regional challenges. The Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Ahmed Mustafa Habib, says the federal government is committed to improving the welfare of victims of recent attacks in some parts of Plateau State. The Director General stated this in Mangu while flagging off the distribution of relief materials to displaced persons. In the Yang reports.
The relief materials include food and other household items. Flagging of the distribution, the North Central Zonal Director of the National Emergency Management Agency, Idris Bashir Gargar, presented the items to the 3 affected communities of Lahir, Bakin Kaswa, Ntam, and Angwam Madaki. He says, as a coordinating agency, the idea is to cushion the effects of the crisis faced by the people, calling for equity and fairness in the distribution of the items.
The next phase is rehabilitation. But this will be incumbent on the return of peace to this area.
The Executive Secretary, Plateau State Emergency Management Agency, and the Chairman of Mangu Local Government Area lauded the prompt intervention of the federal government in ensuring that peace is restored to the communities.
The state is also cooperating very positively with the National Emergency Management Agency to work out the modalities to assist our people to go back to their ancestral homes.
We are putting measures in place to ensure that people have access to their farmlands.
The representatives of Mishkaka, Magavu, and Mayet Allah, as well as benefiting communities, thanked NEMA for coming to their aid, promising to make good use of the items and to also ensure that their people live in peace.
We have to understand that we are all brothers and sisters in Mangu local government.
We are very grateful with this program because we have seen a show of love.
In Mangu local government area, in Denyan and the Abuja, NTA News. The Minister of State for Defense, Bello Mohammed Matawali, has reaffirmed the ban on unauthorized use of military camouflage, stressing that only the armed forces and the Nigeria Police Force on joint operation with the military are allowed by law to use the military camouflage. The ban is in view of reoccurring cases of criminals disguising as military and paramilitary personnel to cause havoc in society, noting that government ban on other paramilitary agencies from the use of the military camouflage is to bring sanity to the system and to checkmate criminal activities. Ebonyi State Governor Francis Inwufuru says the Southeast will fully key into the lawful activities of the Nigerian Hunters and Forest Security Service as enabler to ending serial killings in most forest reserves within and outside the region. The governor was speaking when he received the state commandant, Igwe Larry, and other top officials of the service and granted approval for the recruitment of 2,600 youths in the state. Commandant General Wole Joshua Osatimehi and the Deputy John Mechie promised to ensure adequate security around the Nigerian forest resources and appealed for speedy assent to the law by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Still on security issues, strengthening the existing police force through interrogation of the existing roadmap and implementation of reforms is key to deepening national security. Well, guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria agree that there is need for state police, especially as most security threats occur in states. However, democratic tenets existing in states are issues of concern that must be discussed. Let's hear from Lydia Sampson.
Security experts insist strengthening the police force requires a holistic approach that will ensure limited number of police officers available are rightly deployed to focus on proper policing instead of large numbers deployed as VIP guides. They reiterate the need for equipping the police with requisite knowledge and tools for optimal performance.
The police, they're not being motivated, they're not being equipped. Today, policing and security is technology driven. How far have we applied technology in policing in this country? How far have we applied drones, effective modern technology in terms of communication, tracking, and even right now, it's probably people that have tracking devices when they locate kidnappers. They should, at least every local government, every police station, police post should have a modern technology of tracking, technology of communication.
On the consideration of state police, the guys could not reach a consensus. Just like some Nigerians, they believe, as noble as the idea is, issues around hijack and abuses, especially by state governors, remain a major threat.
The problem isn't state police, because state police in our present political context, in which most state governors have a laser focus on how to eliminate those who oppose them, on how to oppress those who want to contest for power against them, against those who criticize their actions. If they have state police, they are going to use them in a way that's not designed to improve the security, but in a way that will determine political succession in their states.
If you look at the Oronsanyo report and its recommendation, it tried to do that. It actually recommended the delineation of the functions of some of these organizations, and for some of them, they're scrapping them. I want to see more M&E functions in security, monitoring and evaluation. I want to see metrics introduced in security. I want to see KPIs introduced in security, to the point where if the IG is invited, like the parley that happened last week.
They decried the alleged underfunding of the police as mitigating police performance. They called for intense scrutiny for persons seeking recruitment into the police to be prioritized to mitigate employment of criminals. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Enhanced synergy and sharing of intelligence among the security agencies is critical in the ongoing drive to further secure the nation. The former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, reiterates this at the 2024 Army West Africa Social Activities, WASA, in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
It's the West African Social Activity, WASA, an age-long tradition in the Nigerian Army, aimed at bringing together personnel and their families to strengthen the existing bonds among different ethnic groups and the military. The event, devoid of much regimentation, is also an avenue to acknowledge and reward hard work and promote unity among officers, soldiers, and the barracks community.
WASA serves as a veritable tool to signify that the sun has set on the activities of the year being celebrated, while encouraging the troops to approach the activities lined up for the new year with renewed zeal, vigor, and commitment.
Some may criticize organizing WASA as unnecessary in the face of prevailing security challenges bedeviling our nation. WASA, one way or the other, makes all these cultural integrations possible and foster harmonious living in our units and formations.
As the Nigerian Army strives to tackle insecurity in the country, both the kinetic and the non-kinetic, we must use culture and tradition to promote national security and national unity.
The social event marks the end of a successful training year and the beginning of another. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
All right, time to find out what's happening in Benin. Let's join Anwuli.
You're welcome to Benin. The state government has effected the closure of some entertainment centers in the Benin metropolis for indiscriminate use of sound recorders which cause noise pollution in residential areas. Government House correspondent Glokanaini reports.
The drive became necessary after a series of advocacy and appeals by government to those in the habit of causing discomfort to other residents. Having failed to heed the warnings, the Ministry of Environment, via the court order, closed down one of the most popular hotels in the country home, GRA of Saple Road in Benin City. The Commissioner for Environment and Sustainability, Joshua Mohodyon, explained the rationale behind the action.
One of the major issues we have in Benin City today is noise pollution. You have children can't sleep well, parents can't sleep well, people leave work, come back home. When they are meant to rest, you find that most of these places they call themselves lounge or hotels, they create problems for everybody in such a way that people are not able to have adequate peace. And going forward, we are using this place as an example to others and to inform everyone within the state that there are regulations for generating sound within your premises, whether even in your homes. You can't continue nuisance to your neighbor. To a large extent, whatever you are doing, you must take responsibility of whatever your neighbors are doing and realize that your neighbors have every right to live.
While warning hotel owners against the act, he urged those operating illegally to do the needful, as the state monitoring team will go round to ascertain their authenticity. The exercise continues. In Benin, good luck, Enaini. NTA News.
Governor Gordon Obaseki has assured the over 100,000 residents of Ekawan access of speedy completion of the ongoing road project. He gave the assurance when he went on He gave the assurance when he led some government officials to ascertain the level of job there. Kulakanaini reports.
This is one of the critical routes in advancing the socio-economic development of the state. It leads to the riverine community, and most relevant is the proposed Gele seaport. Though construction on the road stopped last year due to excessive rains, contractors have been mobilized back to site, and the governor is here to meet with them on the need to hasten the job.
A very significant road. As you know, for now, this is the main road leading to Ubwene, Gele, the closest point to the Benin River Port. So initially, we will need this road to move men and material during construction to the Benin River Port. A highly populated area, and the citizens who live here are also citizens of Edo, and there's really no reason why they should continue to endure this level of hardship. Like I said, every major project I started, I will complete before I leave office.
The contractor, Duke Ihire, and the permanent secretary, Ministry of Roads and Bridges, Ferguson Enabulele, speaks on the importance of the concrete technology and assure the residents of completing the job in record time.
So we have decided to use these technologies in all these low-lying areas.
Our target is, after the rain season, by October, everything about Ekenwa Road will be completed. The commuters and the community will have a reason to smile and thank the excellency for the great work that he's doing.
The residents are happy with the visit.
We appreciate the governor. We the same with very places area where they work.
Make the haste now, because if rain starts now, wahala don't burst.
In Benin, good luck in any NTA News.
That's it from Benin. We'll take another break on Nationwide. We'll continue in Makurdi right after.
Glad that you could stay, and welcome to Makurdi. High cost of rent in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, has become a thing of worry, as most tenants say the persistent increase has taken a toll on them. They appeal to the state government to enact laws that will regulate the activities of house agents and mode of payments of rent. Iverian Solomon reports.
In recent times, Makurdi, the Benue State capital, has witnessed population increase as people have moved from the rural areas to seek greener pastures in town. Also, security challenges have made people migrate from other cities to Makurdi due to its peaceful environment. However, Residents have decried high cost of rent.
The cost of living now is high. Everything is expensive. So you try to see how you will survive. And on top of that, you are now still looking for a huge amount of money to pay for your rent.
It's very bad because others cannot even afford to feed themselves. Talk less of building a room.
I can also see conditions for people. If I want to increase, I consider conditions of my tenants, what they do and what they earn.
A market survey shows that a tipper of sand that was sold for 15,000 naira now goes for 25,000 naira.
Buy the cement, we produce the blocks. At the tail end, we find it very difficult to get our gain.
General Manager Benue State Urban Development Board, Nongumede, advised residents to take advantage of other parts of the town that are less crowded rather than staying in the main city, which is very expensive.
We're expecting that people should start developing those layouts that are open at the outskirts.
For now, residents hope that prices of building materials will reduce so that they can heave a sign of relief. In Makurdi, Iverian Solomon, NTA News.
Away from high cost of rent, let's now talk security. The Benue State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has paraded 4 suspects for various crimes. Blessing Omeche Ebute has details.
Afternoon. The suspects paraded include a 25-year-old Tekimbi Sunday from Goma local government area for alleged raping of an 11-year-old girl. Briefing journalists at the command's headquarters in Makurdi, Public Relations Officer Superintendent of Corps Michael Ejeliku says a notorious armed robber who has been terrorizing residents of Makurdi was also among those arrested.
17:30 hours at Ugbokbo in Apa local government area, we intercepted an MF375 tractor suspected to be one of the equipment belonging to either Benue State government or Nasarawa State. We have with us 2 drivers were arrested conveying this material, this tractor.
He adds that investigations are ongoing in the various crimes to bring other accomplices to book. On the theft and vandalism of critical national assets, he says, officers and men of the command are working round the clock to reduce the crime to its barest minimum and to continue with its mandate of safeguarding national infrastructure. In Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
That report rounds off our contribution from Makurdi for now. Ruth, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, Charles. Imo State, we hear, is already 48 years of its creation. Now, some Umwiri residents have bared their mind regarding this development. Let's hear from our correspondent, Chuma Nwakwere. Okay, we can't take the report, but I'm told Chuma is standing by live. Chuma, please go ahead and tell us. 48 years is a big deal. What do you have to tell us about Imo State? All right, we seem to have lost signal there from Owerri, where we wanted to join our correspondent Chuma, but congratulations to Imo State. Let's look at health. Cancer is considered a global health threat. World Health Organization report shows more than 70,000 deaths recorded annually in Nigeria. To mitigate this scourge, the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association is taking strides and carrying out sensitization and free screening for 200 of its members with focus on cervical and breast cancer. Ismail Musa reports.
Data by the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment show that Nigeria records more than 120,000 new cases of cancer every year. In 2020, 78,000 Nigerians died as a result of cancer-related complications.
Please get screening. Go for your test.
This cancer awareness, organized by the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DIPOA, is to collectively raise awareness to promote early prevention, treatment, and advocate healthy lifestyle to reduce the burden on families and government.
Each one of us has a role
to play in shaping a world where cancer is no longer a death sentence, but a disease that can be prevented, detected, and treated effectively. Together, let us close the care gap and pave the way towards a future free from the burden of cancer.
By creating this awareness and sensitization in terms of screening, of course, invariably will lead to early detection and, of course, prompt treatment.
We looking at options that will ensure that we can actually eliminate and eradicate cancer. And the best way to do that is through science, through early detection, and treatment as early as possible.
With the 2024 Cancer Awareness Month tagged Closing the Care Gap, the POA also aims to advocate availability of cancer treatment services across the nation. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Impact Development Initiative, an independent election monitoring organization, is advocating for the establishment of special courts to handle pre- and post-election disputes, with the aim of giving room for the court to attend to other litigations. This was at its public presentation of the post-2023 General Election Dispute Resolution Monitoring Report. Timothy Yusuf would tell us more.
The election and tribunal monitoring effort by this monitoring group, Impact Development Initiative, was to track and compile the election dispute resolution process across the 36 states and make recommendations for improving future electoral justice system. While legal redress is preferable to post-election conflict, it was observed that about 1,209 petitions were filed by candidates and political parties after the 2023 general elections. Stakeholders here believe that there are loads of cases and the court is busy for 2 years handling election matter and abandoning their regular jobs, which is not a sustainable process. Reason for the need to have a special court for electoral matters. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu commended the report, saying it was in line with the Commission's objective.
For the Independent National Electoral Commission, the role of alternative dispute resolution mechanisms have long been recognized as integral parts of the Commission's dispute resolution process. In the recognition of this fact, that the Commission established an ADR unit in July 2009, which 5 years later, in 2013, was upgraded into a directorate.
The report presentation was supported by the International Foundation for Electoral Systems, IFES. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The globe stands the risk of having 14% annual growth in the number of child marriages by 2030, going by UNICEF and UNFPA projections, an alarming figure that has necessitated Nigeria to intensify reports to address the child marriage burden through a national dialogue in Abuja. Chimdima in the BC reports that the Ministry of Women Affairs, in conjunction with its development partners and traditional institutions, are driving the conversations on the subject matter.
Nigeria is ranked third country in the world with high number of child marriages, according to the Ministry of Women Affairs and UNICEF's study. How does a child raise a child is one of the rhetorics that reverberated as state actors gathered to discuss measures for tackling the ills. The Minister of Women Affairs says words will be matched with actions this time around.
Our royal fathers should tell their people, look at the way it is now. If you do it, this is it, because it's part of violence against women. And there is a law to that effect, of which most states have signed.
The annual cost of $10 billion is the economic burden of child marriage to the nation.
Some traditional and religious practices are said to encourage this harmful act that has health consequences, especially vesicovaginal fistula in the girl child. So, traditional rulers, the likes of King Apollos Chu, the One-Inche bridge builder, passionate in advocacy for the right practices that foster national development, say royal fathers should rise to their responsibility in driving sensitization on ending child marriage in the grassroots.
Child marriage is happening in the community, so we fought for the community, plan crier, assemble the member of the community, make sure that everybody will throw this enlightenment, this advice, this education they're giving to us, to them that the government is firm at it.
The consensus is that concerted efforts will reduce such practice by 2030. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
All right, let's bring you a sports update.
Stanley Nwabali acknowledged that if he were not discovered more than a decade ago by the club, he would not have attained his current height in football. The Super Eagles goaltender expressed his appreciation at the sideline of a reception in his honor by his local government and former chairman of his club, Felix Obua.
I thank my father here for everything he has done for me, because the wishes and how he built this whole club for me to play and find myself here.
Goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali therefore prayed for God's protection of the founder of Goran Eagles FC, Felix Obua, so that he will continue to do more for the youths of the area and Nigeria at large.
Once your own time comes, nobody can take it away from you. Be patient, hardworking, steadfast, and above all, fear of God. Congratulations for making.
Well done to our safe hands, talking about Stanley there. And that's Nationwide. Do enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Ruth Aguilera. Bye.